my second curriculum picks video. If you missed it, here's what my daughter will be using for 8th grade, but keep watching to see what my son will be using for 6th grade. Welcome back to Regular Secular Mama. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Cassie and I'm a 7th year homeschooling mom to 2 kiddos, currently ages 10 and 13 years old. As I said in my last video, grade levels are kind of arbitrary for us at this point after homeschooling for so long, but it really is kind of nice to call it something and just say what grade we're in. Anyway, let's get right into their group choices. We are going to stick with Build Your Library. We have finished up levels 5 and 6, which we took like 3 years on. It was kind of a long time, but we pulled in some different resources and moved around a little bit. So it was kind of chaotic and we really needed to stretch that time out. But we are ready to move on. We are going to be doing Build Your Library's level 7, which is World Geography and Zoology. Now we have loved how we have done Build Your Library, but we have changed it up a lot and we have always swapped out the science and we have pulled in different things for writing. This year, what I'm going to do is stick to the curriculum almost exactly as it's written as much as possible because it will make my life easier, of course, and because it's tied in so well. She did such a nice job pulling in zoology and world cultures and world religions. So I'm really excited to see kind of how that all fits together, the way it's written. That is going to pretty much cover our history and our science. And we are also going to be using the writing components from Build Your Library, which is not something we have really done in the past. We have used their copywork and dictation a little bit, but we are going to use pretty much all of it next year. This year, what we did is we used IEW for our main writing curriculum, and it worked really, really well. I will share my thoughts on that in another video, but we are not going to continue. I had planned to actually, and I was getting ready to order it. And then at the last possible moment, I decided to just stick with Build Your Library. There are lots of research papers and things, not research papers, but like small research pages where you're looking at different animals or different continents. So that includes some writing. Of course, there's the copywork and dictation, which is a tenet of Charlotte Mason homeschooling. And I like that. And we've always kind of used that in some form or fashion. So we will use that from level 7. And we will also use the writing, the report assignments every week. I can't remember what level it starts in. I want to say maybe level 4 or 5. She starts assigning a weekly report over some topic that we covered that week. And in level 7, since they're kind of getting into the upper levels of middle school, they are expected to kind of outline their thoughts and things they want to say, and then write like 2 or 3 paragraphs. After doing IEW, I feel like that is a super realistic goal for the kids. I think that they will have no problem doing that every week. I will probably have to help my son a little bit. He's younger and writing has always been kind of a sore spot for him. So we will kind of work a little more one-on-one on that than my daughter. She can probably do that no problem on her own. But yeah, we are not going to change up the writing at all. Something I forgot to mention in my last video, so I hope you're watching, is we use something from Getty-Dubay. It's like an online worksheet generator that they provide that kind of follows their the way they do their slanted letters and lines. You can put in whatever text you want and then tell them what size lines you want, whether you want it to be dashed for them to trace or whether you want it to be joined or not. And so it's been a really good resource, especially for things like copywork, because they use Getty-Dubay workbooks, or they have in the past. And so that way they can kind of continue with the same style of writing with their copywork. Okay, moving on. There are a couple of other kind of language arts things that I want to do next year that aren't exactly part of Build Your Library. We are going to continue Clay Thompson Grammar practice sentences. I do have Grammar Voyage, which we haven't really gotten into yet, but I plan to do that as soon as we get to a point where we're ready for a little bit more grammar instruction. But until then, I feel like they have covered grammar pretty well, and we're just going to keep practicing. My kids are also still working on some of their spelling skills, especially my 10-year-old. He has used All About Spelling for a while. We kind of let that drop this year. We didn't really do a good job sticking with it and like continuing to do it every week. There are many weeks where we have skipped spelling completely. So I'm hoping that we can like buckle down and really work on that next year. He is almost done with level 2, and I think he has like 1 or 2 lessons left of that. So I already have level 3, and we will continue that. I'm hoping that he will get to a point where he's ready for phonetic zoo, partly because it is so independent and I don't have to sit and do it with him. So All About Spelling has been a really good way to teach him spelling, and it's been really helpful for him. But it would be nice to be able to give him something that he can do on his own while I'm at work. Something that I came across when I was watching some YouTube videos recently is something that she calls lit logs, and I cannot recall her name or her channel name, but I will include it here, and I will also have a link in my description to her video where she talks about what this is. Basically, it's a more artistic way of doing a narration. So she asked her children to take a nice quality sketchbook that will hopefully last the year and illustrate something from what they read, and then also narrate. If they're older, they will do a handwritten narration, or they can dictate to her and she will write down their narration and include that on the page as well. I loved this idea because my kids are pretty artistic, and I think they would really enjoy something a little more creative like that. This year we have just been doing kind of a reading response journal. So they read every day and then they just journal about what they read. I haven't really kept it structured. It was just whatever they felt like sharing or summarizing, they could write in their journal, and that was it. And it's been fine. There's nothing wrong with doing it that way, but I thought it was getting a little boring for them, maybe a little monotonous. And I would like to also free up some of our daily time to do other things, like for geography and zoology. And so what I'm going to do is ask them to do 1 lit log a week instead of something every day. So I bought them some really nice hardcover mixed media sketchbooks. So whatever they feel like doing on there, they can. It's sturdy enough that they can paint on it, or however they want to illustrate what they read. Will go on that page. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see like what they come up with and all the creative ways they want to narrate about what they read. Now, Build Your Library does have narration cards, and we have used them in the past in different ways, but I feel like they take a lot more time. I don't know if it's the way we're using it or if my kids just like to take their time on things, but they take a long time sometimes with some of those narration activities. So we're not going to use the narration cards from Build Your Library and instead just do this 1 lit log a week. Of course, we still have math. My daughter went from the foundational courses of math in Math UC to Thinkwell's pre-algebra, and that worked beautifully for her. I feel like Math UC laid a really strong foundation that she was able to carry over into pre-algebra. Even some of the stuff she's like, yeah, I already covered this. So I love Math UC for that. I can't remember why exactly I decided not to use Math UC's upper level math. I think I wanted something more independent, and that's why we tried Thinkwell for my daughter. My son still has a long way to go, though. He's really not ready for that sort of independence, and he still has 1 level left of Math UC's foundational courses. So he's going to be doing Zeta next year, which covers decimals and percents, and hopefully he will be ready for something more independent the following year, and we can try Thinkwell. My son also has a foreign language that he's been working on, and that is French. I'm not sure why they chose Japanese and French when we live in Florida, but that's okay. He wanted to do French, and he's been doing Duolingo for the past year and a half or so, and we really haven't made a whole lot of progress on Duolingo. I don't know if it's just the program or if it's the way we're using it. So we are going to try something different and do online classes through something like OutSchool. Now, French is a little bit more common a language to learn, I feel like. So if you have any online video-based classes like OutSchool for French that you enjoyed, please comment down below and let me know because I'm still trying to narrow down which one we're going to try for next year. Some other like extracurricular things that they enjoy that we'll continue is soccer. My son took the spring off of soccer, so he I think he's not super excited about soccer anymore, but my daughter really likes it and I really like it, and it's something active for him to do. So I'm going to sign him up for the fall and we're just going to do that. Hopefully he'll continue with it. One thing he expressed interest in though, which was kind of different, is bowling. And I kind of dropped the ball on that, no pun intended. But he wanted to try bowling, and I think there's a youth league in town somewhere, but I haven't really looked into it. But I suppose I should see if he wants to do bowling. He is also attending art classes with our local art organization, so we will either continue with those or we might try another sort of co-op fine arts situation in town that I heard of. And lastly, both of my kids are in charge of cooking one dinner a week individually. So my daughter has one a week and my son has one a week. And he has become a pro at Taco Tuesdays, which is great. But we might branch out a little bit and maybe try some different recipes and things. So we will continue that as well. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for next year. I'm trying to keep it really simple. I tend to get really excited and like want to do all these things, and then we don't have time for it, and then we get burnt out and we take weeks off, and that's not going to work. So I am trying to keep it simple this year and just stick to mostly build your library with a couple of other things sprinkled in. And I'm really excited for level 7. It looks like so much fun, and it's likely going to be the last group subject thing that we do. The last year we have homeschooling as a group, and so that makes me a little bit sad because we've really enjoyed like that time together doing read alouds and history and things. So I'm really looking forward to continuing to do that together next year. Hopefully make it a really fun year. I mean, it's animals and stuff all around the world, like that's fun. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you as always. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. And if you missed it, check out my daughter's 8th grade curriculum pics. See you next time. Bye.